You're tuned into All2ReelToo. Be sure to subscribe, download, share the show with a friend, and stop by all2reeltoo.com for our social links, Patreon, and TeePublic store info.
Hi, I'm Chris.
And I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Fergal.
And we're from Movie Smash.
Comic book movies are having a golden age right now with the MCU.
Movies based on comics aren't necessarily a new thing, but they're a big thing.
Join us every other Tuesday on Movie Smash.
We explore these movies and find some hidden gems.
Every other week, we revisit some of the best.
And some of the worst movies based on comics or graphic novels.
Was Green Lantern as bad as you remember?
Heck no!
Is Time Cop the most accurate time travel movie ever created?
Absolutely.
Was Mystery Men way ahead of its time?
Should they be revisited? Should they be forgotten?
Join us on Movie Smash and find out. Listen wherever you find your fine podcasts.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All2ReelToo. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me, as always, is
Sesame. He didn't leave the Cock-a-doodle car.
He didn't leave the Cock-a-doodle car.
Oh, he did not.
It's an interesting middle name there.
Thanks.
Or is that your new last name?
I don't know. Okay, I can't count anymore. I stopped counting years ago. I owe like probably $100,000 in name changing.
I want to break something to you, Sesame.
Right.
Changing your name, they only charge you if you go like to the name changing place.
Yeah, I know. That's what I went to, yeah.
Oh, you went there every week?
Well, not every week. Well, yeah, I guess maybe, yeah.
So did you go there today?
No.
So this time it doesn't count.
Okay, that's fine. That's okay.
Yes.
I'm okay.
So,
I'm okay with that.
yeah. So it's okay. You can cock-a-doodle be okay with it. And so today, folks, we're this is our third episode in our based on Stephen King stories, or works of Stephen King, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. That's
series. Yeah. So yeah, today we are covering the 1990 film Misery, which I will say is my favorite adaptation of a Stephen King project, period. So according to the Internet Movie Database, the log line or description of this is: after a famous author is rescued from a car crash by a fan of his novels, he comes to realize that the care he is receiving is only the beginning of a nightmare of captivity and abuse. The film was directed by the late, great Rob Reiner, written by Stephen King and William Goldman, and based on Stephen King's book. He didn't really write the screenplay, though. William Goldman wrote the screenplay. He's there are other people who were involved. I've done some research, but he gets the credit. William Goldman, people might know from Princess Bride, among other things. He's like one of the most prolific screenwriters of all time, too. Mm-hmm. So he wrote the book, The Princess Bride, and the screenplay of the movie that was also directed by Rob Reiner. Right. So the film stars James Caan as Paul Sheldon, Kathy Bates as Annie Wilkes, Richard Farnsworth as Buster, Frances Sternhagen as Virginia, and Lauren Bacall as Marcia Sindel. There's also other people like J.T. Walsh as a state trooper, Sherman Douglas, like a bunch of like TV people. Misery the pig is in the movie as herself. Rob Reiner is the voice of a helicopter pilot. But this is pretty much what they call a two-hander, where most of the movie is just James Caan and Kathy Bates.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot.
Yeah.
What's going on between them?
And Kathy won the Academy Award for, I don't know if it was Best Supporting or Best Actress for this movie. So, yeah.
That was during her era of like really, really tough movies. Because this was like her, I think this may have been her first, like, she had done smaller parts in movies, but this was her first leading role in a movie. And she was primarily a theater actress at this point. Yeah.
So, yeah. She did do some other fucked up movies, but this is the most fucked up.
Yeah, the one I remember was Dolores Claiborne.
That's another. It was produced by Rob Reiner, and it's a Stephen King. Wow. It's a Stephen King adaptation as well. And a fact about Dolores Claiborne is the character of Dolores Claiborne was written by Stephen King with Kathy Bates in mind for the role.
Okay.
Yeah. After he saw her in Misery, he started working on that book, and he based the character on. He thought this is something that Kathy could play. So yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching that a lot too when I was younger.
Yeah, I need to finish it. I started watching it recently, and then I got distracted. Yeah, that's a good one. So what are your initial thoughts here on this film?
I like it a lot. I watched almost all of it last night, and then I went ahead and just rewatched it from the beginning earlier today. So I kind of have a double whammy somewhat, so to speak. I miss old movies like this where I saw a video on YouTube recently, not all of it, but I watched some of it where it was basically like the title was something like, "Why don't movies look good again?" or something like that. And it was basically about all movies now are they kind of just use like the same effects, the same style. There's really there's like no uniqueness to pretty much anything at this point when it comes to art. Everything is cookie cutter, unfortunately. But it reminded me of like how movies used. I feel sorry for younger people who just don't know how they can watch it, but they weren't actually there to experience as it was going on. That movies used to be good for the most part. You had a few crappy movies here and there, but for the most part, if a movie was going into the movie theater, it was designed at least with the attempt of trying to be a good or successful movie. Now throw crap out there you
also had a lot of variety in films because in theaters because you didn't have all these streaming services. Because a film like this, sadly, I mean, maybe because it's based on Stephen King, if this were never made in the 90s and they decided to make it today, it might have just ended up on Netflix or something,
right?
And not in theaters, because that's the type something like this would that. I mean, literally, there are there's I wish I could remember the name of it, but there's a Stephen King adaptation from a few years ago that was on Netflix about a woman who's doing some sexual play in bed and gets tied to the bed by her husband, and then he dies.
Oh, no.
And so she's kind of just stuck to the bed. So it's kind of similar to this in a way that you're kind of isolated sort of thing. And and that was a direct to Netflix movie. So it's bypass theaters, something like that. Yeah.
That thing, I hope at some point the spell's gonna break, or at very least, how culture tends to come back 25, 30 years later.
Yeah.
Maybe it will become a trend. Become a trend to do things the way they used to be. And then hopefully then people will realize how much better it was. Then it just won't be a trend. It will just be what is normal.
What it is.
Because I miss older, and I say older because this movie technically is 36 years old now. I miss older movies that have a plot, they have dialogue that's discernible, that you can actually hear, that you don't have the volume turned up super, super low when it comes to dialogue, and then yank it all the way up when it comes to the action scene. And so you're sitting there with the remote constantly turning it up, turning it down. I mean, how many movies do this? It's annoying. And
there's a lot.
Everyone complains about it, but they don't do anything about it.
It's the reason I watch almost everything with subtitles on.
Yeah, me too. I can't not do it because I'm going to wake everybody up if I'm watching something late at night, because it's going to be a car accident or something, whatever,
And sometimes even if you turn it all the way up, you still can't understand what somebody's saying because they don't mic them right, or they don't, the mix isn't right on things. And a lot of things too, when you're talking about the way movies used to look too, it's the other thing is everything's so dark now.
Yeah. There's more color in old movies.
Yeah. And I mean, you've got the different ends of the spectrum though. You've got movies that look that you can tell are low budget and bad movies. A lot of time are the ones that are more colorful, but they're not lit well. So you don't have depth in the thing. So it's a flat thing. It seems to be what most religious Christian films, the way they're lit is.
You're right. I was just thinking of that Karate Christmas movie.
Yeah.
That was a good example of too much color or light.
Yeah, and it's it's too much light. There's no depth of field and things. And a lot of movies now have there's no depth of field because there's no light at all. And it's sometimes you just got all this action going on and it's dark and you don't even know okay, who just punched who, whose car is that? What's the, it's just,
right.
Yeah. It's I just wish people would light movies like they used to. And I mean, you've got like a lot of things are digital now too, so it's different. But it's like when things were on 35 millimeter, like this movie, you've got to light it a specific way, and it's so much. I mean, it's so much easier now to do things, but it's still like
that's the problem.
It doesn't seem like the care is into it to create a good thing. I mean, I'm not saying that it's completely void because, you know, you have people like David Fincher or Christopher Nolan or other people that do, you know, that like Christopher Nolan or David Fincher do the lighting well. Like, you know, they have good cinematographers, and there are some movies that are still good cinematography, but it seems like most movies that are going to theaters now are just these big blockbuster CGI crap, you know? So
see, that's the problem when you level the playing field a little bit too much. Like the whole point is like with AI music, for example, or AIR, where it's like they'll even like promote these things in their ads, saying things like anyone can be an artist and anyone could do this. And it's like, no, by definition, not anyone can, because by definition, everybody in the world would be an artist, which is just actually not the case. You actually have to work and practice and get good at something. And I know this might hurt your feelings a little bit. Some people are just veterans and other people are. I know. Yeah. It's hard. Like the fathom that, like, you might try, you know, like, I always feel like I'm middling. Like I've got the talent more than the average musician or producer, but then I'm just not at that point where I could ever be like regaled as like the best in my field or whatever. And I've just learned to accept that. I don't just plug in AI and go, oh, write me a hit song in this style, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'm an artist now. It's like, no, you didn't write any of that. All that did was just take a whole list of other things and just extrapolates it from millions of songs. And then it just puts together a song based off all of the, you know, analysis of all these other songs. And yeah, CGI is not like AI. At least you actually have to put in the work to actually make it.
Yeah, but the problem that they have with it is you get something like Quantum Mania or something that they try to rush to theaters, so they don't give people enough time to do the CGI properly and the art right.
Yeah.
And the problem you got too is like there's no practical anymore. It's all so when you had a mix of the two, like I think that like Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies look better than things today because it was both physical and computer generated at the same time.
Or Stranger Things season 1, the Demogorgon was actually a guy in a suit.
Yeah.
And that's why it was more terrifying, because you actually had a combination. Anyway, I know I went on a rant here, but I miss older movies where more care was put into it and more time was put into it.
And for the record here, I wanted to point out too that the cinematographer of this film is Barry Sonnenfeld, who is a well-known director now. He directed the Men in Black movies, the first 3 at least, and but prior to this, he did cinematography. This was the last movie that he did that he was the director of photography on, but he also did Miller's Crossing with the Coen brothers. He did Big with Penny Marshall, who was once married to Rob Reiner. He did When Harry Met Sally with Rob Reiner. Yep. He did the cinematography for Throw Mama from the Train, 3 O'Clock High, Raising Arizona. It's so they hired somebody that knew what he was doing, you know? So, yeah.
Yep.
So, where do you want to start with this? Do you want to talk about just like the feeling of it? Because I mean, the basic plot is pretty simple.
Yeah. Mainly the feeling, because like the plot would take like 5 minutes to go over, because nothing really happens. And like there's so much suspense and talking, but like as far as like actual action, things actually happening, there's only probably like 3 or 4 scenes that actually are things happening.
And it's
fine. It's okay. It's just that
it's that isolated suspense. It's like so there's some of that like in The Shining, another Stephen King thing, but like, you know, being like isolated somewhere. But this is like taking The Shining and putting it in one room and taking away the supernatural element. It's more the scary psycho woman that I do like how the movie slowly builds up Kathy Bates as Annie Wilkes. Like at first you don't know. I mean, obviously if you're going into the movie, you already know it's going to be creepy if you know the history of it. But if you had never heard of this and just watching it, it's just like it slowly builds her insanity.
Like she at first she just comes off as like maybe a little bit eccentric, isolated. Doesn't really doesn't really have any neighbors, that kind of thing. But then once I would say my first warning sign would have been, I guess I'm just pretty good at detecting crazy. So like I would be able to tell even before the first incident that like maybe this person's not all the way there. Not like as an insult, but just more of like maybe be careful around them, type of thing. Like, but like when she first that was so I already would have known that beforehand. But like for example, when the whole thing with the pig where she's like oinking around, like immediately I'm like, that's a crazy person doing that right now. Like again, there's no offense to them. It's like you got a problem, That's just what it is. But like when people start acting really, really weird like that, I'm just like, like there's two kinds of weird. There's like cool weird, and there's just like, ooh, like weird. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're just like
you feel like maybe at first she's just like an eccentric fan, like, like somebody that's like, like some people don't know how to act around like a celebrity or somebody that they really like. But so it seems like, oh, okay. And she's like kind of like just an eccentric woman. And then, but you start to realize, oh wait, no, she's a serial killer.
Like there's something wrong with like the first big within the movie itself. Like I said, like I would probably detect this a little bit earlier on, but within the movie, the canon, if you will, the movie itself is when she's feeding him tomato soup and she's getting all worked up because he is swearing in the novel and she doesn't like bad language, and he was just trying to explain to her why it was necessary because in the movie these are kids that grew up in the slums. He grew up in the same way. He's like, people just talk like that was just how we talk. And she took great offense to that and just starts getting really, 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 really amped up, like real fast, like, oh boy, like unhinged, here it come, like, and she's just like, I don't go to the store and tell me, give me a bastard sized of pig food or whatever, I don't know, something like that. She spills the tomato soup on his bed and she's like, look what you made me do. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. like
oh no,
like this is the worst place to have like an accident where you literally can't move, like you're like you're dependent on the person who is like gonna murder you. It's like
it's really creepy. And I mean, the book is even creepier. Okay. I've never read it, but I looked up like the differences and stuff. So like the big difference is, okay, so there's the scene where she has this thing called the hobbling.
Oh God.
Where she breaks his legs because she's mad at him and wants him to stay longer, basically. So in the movie, I mean, in the book, I mean, in the movie, it's like with a sledgehammer and stuff. In the book, she uses an axe and cuts off one of his feet, like clean off.
Oh God.
Before and then she does it to one of his thumbs later too. She just cuts it off.
How you expected the word then to do? Okay.
Well, I guess you don't have
to understand
thumbs, but
I understand that coddling thing of why would you need to put his feet in between a board? Like, wouldn't you just cause as much damage by just taking a sledgehammer to his feet without them being? I don't really know what the difference would even be.
What it does is because you're taking, because like if you have nothing to brace the foot up against, it's gonna flop more.
Oh right,
so
okay.
You're basically just breaking it because you're hitting it up against something hard. So it's it's going to hurt and do more damage.
It's more damage that way. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I saw the some of the behind the scenes, like the way they did this, they made fake feet. Obviously they didn't really do that to James Caan's feet.
I'm glad.
They had these fake feet, and I guess the speaking of them flopping, I guess because they did so many takes on it that the feet just kind of flopped away. So they had to take the feet and put like a wire, like coat hanger or something inside them to hold them tight. And they had a crew member right underneath the bed, just holding them there so they wouldn't away. So
hilarious.
So but it's just creepy. But it's a lot creepier if she just cut the foot clean off. They originally had that in William Goldman had that in the script, like from the book, like where the foot was just cut clean off. And but somebody at the studio was like, I don't know if we can do that.
Nowadays, you might be able to get away with that, but back in 1990.
But then, and William Goldman was kind of upset about that. But then eventually, he's just like, it's actually kind of creepier the way it's done in this. It's not.
It is because it's like planned out more. It's more suspense going on with it because she's more deliberate and clinical about it. Absolutely though, Tara. But God, it's being tortured like that. Oh, Christ. Like, the idea of being tortured is like scary. Like when I like when people act like they're like for anyone for like a cause, they're like I totally be okay with being a martyr and being killed. It's like, okay, are you cool with torture though? Because it's easy to get shot and die. What if they keep you for weeks and they're just doing? Oh, I can't even think about it.
I mean, what if you're in an Israeli prison where they take a hot rod and stick it up your ass?
That's what I'm saying. So it's like,
that's what I'm saying.
One thing would be like, oh well, I totally die. It's like, yeah, you'd be lucky if you died for the cause. Actually,
yeah. Yeah, because some of the people that are tortured are the worst. I mean, you've got lots of different types of, like all the people that were in Guantanamo and different things, and then then what's going on in CCOT now and stuff. So it's just
it's absolutely horrendous. Yeah. I try not to think about that too much because I'm like worried about if it's going to happen to me because we live like in a terrible society now. Yeah. So I think about shit like that. Like, what if they tried to do this to me, or what if they tried to? I mean, it probably won't happen, but still,
it's you never know anymore. But and I think one of the things, I mean, we'll go back to some more trivia here too, but like one of the things about this torture thing too, it's like in a way we have that a lot now, but in a different way online. I'm not saying that it's like physical torture or isolation, but a lot of times you have these people that are isolated, but like Annie, who are obsessed with something like she is with these misery books. And I mean, can't accept something happening different than the way they want it to. And so, that happens in some fandoms like Star Wars. And
or Stranger Things.
Things right now, people that can't let things go. Like as we record this will be out in February, but as we record this, Stranger Things finale had just happened, and people online are not happy with the way it ended. I mean, whatever. I mean, you're never going to be happy with the way somebody does something. Yeah. And I mean, I wasn't happy with it, but I'm not, but people are so delusional that they think that there's another episode going to come with the Stranger thing. Or people are so delusional that they think they should write the screenplay or the script for something or whatever, or create the video game or whatever. It's just so sad, and people get so angry online, like if something's not exactly the way they want it, and people are upset when something is exactly the way it used to be, but then people are upset when something isn't the way it used to be. Right. So it's just like you're going to have people of all walks of life, but there are people that are, literally, like I'm a fan of Star Wars, and I even have like a little Star Wars shrine in my house just because I've got like lots of collectibles and shit. But I'm not to the point where I think I know better than the creators of the shows and the movies. I didn't like the sequel trilogy that much, except for the middle one, the one Rian Johnson did, because Rian Johnson is a careful writer and creator, and he knows what he's doing. But
actually tried to
do something different. And I still think that movie's flawed too. But there's but that's just my personal feelings. But the thing is, it's like, even though I don't like where, the series ended up in that trilogy and stuff, I have no right to become Annie Wilkes and demand that somebody redo it and make me happy, and that's what people actually think they're entitled to. Yeah. It's kind of sad. But I've actually seen people literally like that, like, well, I'm not going to watch any of their stuff. And then they still keep watching it, and they see it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, all right, well, obviously you're not telling the truth.
They're literally people I've seen, like, when these shows that are on for years, like anything from like Grey's Anatomy to, I'm trying to think of other shows that have been on for like decades or something, they'll get upset about like a storyline, and they'll be like, I don't think I'm going to watch the show anymore. And then like 5 years later, you still see them commenting and saying, I
don't really like this part. Yeah, I know. It's just this woman takes it to an extreme, obviously, of like willing to like torture the author.
It's like, I've been a fan of General Hospital since I was a little kid, and soap opera, and that fandom is just as bad as Star Wars online, because you'll see people that are like, I hate that woman, she sucks. And there are people that literally have become, like, if you play a villain like on a soap opera, I can't remember who the actor was, but he or she was playing a villain on I remember this interview, but I don't remember if it was a guy or a girl that gave the interview, but they were saying something about they were walking down Times Square, and somebody saw them and walked up to them and like cussed them out and stuff, like because of what their character did on the TV show. It's like that's not that bad, but there have been people that, you know, form these like parasocial relationships with creators or actors or something like that, where they think that they're entitled to this familiarity with somebody, and they can't distinguish fiction from reality, or, you know, or just common, I don't know, courtesy of other people, sort of thing, where you know, you don't like somebody's review of a movie or something and you see them in public and give them crap. I've heard about that happening too with like movie reviewers on YouTube and stuff. It's just so sad.
Yeah. Like I just looked this up because I remember, I remember that Jeffrey Dean Morgan got death threats because his character Negan killed Glenn in the season 7 beginning of Walking Dead. I'm like, it's a character from a TV show. He didn't actually beat someone to death with a baseball bat. It was food coloring and stuff, and no one actually really got hit. It was not a real. And
he didn't even write the scene.
He didn't even write the series. If anything,
what the fuck?
If anything, the scene was actually less brutal than the actual comic book itself, because you don't actually see a whole lot of the actual hitting. A lot of it's just sounds and suspense, as opposed to just like the comic book where you just see the entire thing. Like, but it's just like I'm gonna send a death threat to a guy, an actor, for playing a role. Mind you, that kind of just proves of how good the actor is by playing their role if they get so much hate. Like, you know,
and then we get into the other aspect where people actually reveal who they are in reality, and people get upset at them for having a personality and points of view on things like politics or social issues.
Right.
And it's like, because like I don't agree with her 100% of the time, but speaking of General Hospital, there's this actress Nancy Lee Grahn who is like very outspoken politically on her Twitter and Facebook and stuff, and I'll see comments in posts where like there was a couple years ago where during the pandemic, a couple actors who refused to get vaccinated had to be let go from the show because there was a policy at Disney that you had to be vaccinated. And people are online because they don't agree with her politically, saying it was her fault that these actors got fired and not Disney. And it's just like, because like these two actors were a little bit more conservative and she's a little bit more liberal. And it's like, so they're blaming this actress who's just on the show. And then like when her character does something they don't like, they're like, yeah, that's because she can't act, or she's telling them what to write on the show and stuff like that. And it's like, she does not have that kind of control.
It's just like, it's coping. It's coping. Yeah. But yeah, man. What else do you want to talk about? Because there was another scene I really wanted to bring up. I'm trying to remember what it was. It had something to do with just like, again, like the revealing of her like character being more like just unhinged and just like very unreliable in a lot of ways. Like when she buys him paper because she's basically going to force him to. Well, what it was, so he let her read the manuscript of his novel, which he hadn't even churned in yet, because he figured, well, you know, she paid me and she's taking care of me. What, you know, at least I can do is let her read my manuscript. Yeah. Well, you know, after the swearing thing, she didn't like that too much, but she's like, yeah, you know, it is what it is. And then, you know, she puts in the bed or whatever. And she's like, I only got a few more chapters to go. And then he wakes up in the middle of the night and she's just staring at him with so much hatred in her eyes. Oh, yeah. How could you? You killed Misery. Just starts, freaking the fuck out. And then like she makes him burn his manuscript the next morning. Because she heard once on an interview that he only prints out one copy of each of his manuscripts before he sends it in, because that's what he did with his first novel. So now
this was before, like, you know, you could save something on the cloud or whatever.
No, it's like really, like, he didn't even know who she was. Like, Merv Griffin. He's like, Merv Griffin. Like, he doesn't even remember the interview itself. Yeah. Like, you know, but she remember, that's to be fair, because he's probably doing like hundreds of interviews. He's not going to remember every single, you know, one. But like, yeah, you know, she remembers this because she probably taped it on her VCR or some.
Yeah, that's like when you're obsessed with something. It's like the people like William Shatner was famous for one time saying, I mean, they parodied it on SNL, but I believe at one point he actually told people to get a life because they were so obsessed with Star Trek and asked him like these questions like, in episode 5 of the second season, you did this, blah, blah, blah. What did that mean? And it's like, yeah, that was just a job for him. You know, it's not like
he didn't write it, so he might not even know what it was supposed to, because he's not the.
And even when you're a writer of something, like I wrote a short film and my friends really liked the film and would quote it to me. And like my friends used to quote movies to me all the time, and they quoted my own movie to me. And I said, what's that from?
Like, it's your movie, dude.
He's like, you wrote it. And I'm like, oh, I don't remember writing it.
I know about that. Yeah. No. But like, so that scene was kind of fucked up where she took a cheap charcoal grill into the bedroom.
Yeah.
Put a bunch of lighter fluid on it and told him that he's got to burn his manuscript and he's got to rewrite it according to how she likes it. And then what he wouldn't do is she was just like pouring lighter fluid onto his bed to threaten to set him on fire, essentially, unless he did what he was told. And so he went ahead and burned it. And of course, you know, it burned a bunch of her curtains because it's a fire in a fucking bedroom.
So in this is something that's different in the book too. So in the book, cleverly in the book version, he somehow got a stack of unrelated, you know, pages, like like just with random stuff on it. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't destroy his entire novel. She burns that instead.
So does he know then that she was going to try that or something? Or
I don't know. He somehow it got switched or something. He switched it, and then she only burned. I don't know. Because I'm only reading a synopsis here, but she, you know, he later went on to publish the book. And it was a bestseller.
It's just like, oh man, like, and so there was that scene that was kind of really scary. The other one is where she buys him this really expensive paper for him to rewrite the book, and he basically like politely tells her like, you know, he appreciates it and stuff, but that particular type of paper smudges a lot, and so, you know, it might cause a problem. And I love her logic. He's like, well, mine was the most expensive. I'm like, that doesn't always mean what you think. Like, just because something's more expensive doesn't mean it's better for what you're like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, this Lamborghini is more expensive than this garbage truck. Sure. Yeah. But if you need trash to be picked up, you use the garbage truck, not a Lamborghini. Like, I would think, you know, so like, you know, that's some weird logic right there. So she took it really personally.
Yeah. I live in this really ritzy neighborhood and all my trash is picked up by a guy in a Lamborghini.
He can only do one pickup at a time. Yeah. Very inefficient way of we've got to go take it to the landfill. Yeah. And come back. He probably only does about 10 runs a day.
Yes.
Very inefficient.
It's very expensive. Like I mean I pay $1 million a week at the dump, but it's just, you know, it's worth it.
Lamborghini stinks too.
He's not cleaned every day too, so it's he gets the Lamborghini cleaned every night too, so it's really worth it.
Go to transportation job, and so, you know, she gets really, really angry. He's like, I'll just bring the whole damn store to you. Slams the thing on his lap when his legs are still healing. That hurt a lot. And this is when he starts trying to just explore the house. He picks the lock with the hairpin.
Yeah.
And so he does it a few times. When she leaves, he just kind of roams around her house just to kind of get a better idea of who this woman is. And he ends up finding a scrapbook. And the first thing he sees is stuff about him saying that he's presumed dead because of the accident. Yeah, I forgot the whole thing. He writes his book in this place called the Silver Lodge or Silver City, something like that. And he finishes all of his books there, and then he drives off. But he drove off during the middle of a snowstorm, didn't realize at the time. And so his car ended up tipping over, and she saved him. She took him out of there. And so he's, you know, you can't go anywhere. I mean, his car is completely totaled. Yeah. He can't walk, can't do anything. And so he found this thing where it said the author is presumed dead, and there's a bunch of other stuff. And he closes the book, and it's called Memory Lane. It's the name of the script. Yeah. Like that's kind of fucked up. But then we find all these articles of like her, you know, graduating with honors, you know, from this college, and then she's gonna be the head of this nurse department in this city, but it's like all over the country. Like she just moves the place.
Talking about like her dad dying and stuff like that. And so an interesting thing, if Lizzie Kaplan plays a younger version of this character in the second season of Castle Rock.
I just watched 2 episodes of that tonight. Really good.
The really first season or the second season?
Second. I didn't even bother to watch it. I just wanted to watch this.
Yeah.
Version of it.
Go back and watch the first season.
Okay.
And then because it ties in at the end. But that series is really, really underrated. Which is funny because it's produced by the guy who I was talking about the not liking the sequel trilogy for J.J. Abrams. But
yeah.
So he's good. I like him, but it's like sometimes he doesn't really hit it out of the park, in my opinion. But Lizzie Kaplan is just brilliant as a younger version of the character too.
Is that supposed to be canon? Because that takes place in 2019. So
this is like the character. It's like the characters are moved up to present day and stuff.
Okay, all right.
So, but it's still a younger version of her. It's not really. And the series is kind of like it takes place. It's not written by Stephen King. It just takes place in his universe.
Okay.
So you have characters that appear in his books in the series, but you don't. There's because some of there's some characters in that series from other books, like Ace Merrill is from The Body, which became Stand By Me, another Rob Reiner movie. But so there's different things like that. So but it's such a good show. The first season is brilliant too, but it's different because Annie Wilkes isn't in it, and it's like each season is kind of an anthology, but they do tie to each other at the very end.
I'll probably have to go back, which is weird too, because I started watching it and then season 2 has this big thing with like Somali immigrants. I'm like, oh my God. Just like with everything now going on, it's like, why am I watching this all of a sudden where it's like, these goddamn Somali, you take no round out or whatever. I'm like, oh boy. like great. Now I got to hear this in the TV show as well.
It's good though. But
it's very Tim Robbins is also in that.
Oh, I know.
Too really good.
Speaking of that, the first season takes place a lot in Shawshank Prison, so it's and Tim Robbins was in the movie Shawshank.
Exactly. It's very good. Yeah, tight on it.
If you end, I'm recommending this to other people. If you like that and you liked, if you end up liking Castle Rock, I suggest right after that going into Welcome to Derry.
Right. Yeah. A lot of this ties into each other.
In certain ways. Anyways, the another difference from the book and the movie. So the sheriff Buster comes to Annie's place looking because he doesn't believe Paul is dead. He is looking around and he has his suspicions about Annie, and so he goes to her place and is looking around and everything, and eventually she just shoots him with a shotgun in the chest. Graphic.
Save the guy or find him.
So in the book, so it starts out in the winter, and it's in the book. It like takes place over a longer stretch of time. So he's in the inner place even longer.
I mean, you already seemed like he was there for a while in the movie. At least
but snow hasn't totally melted by the end of this movie. But in this, I guess it's like more spring. It begins to be springtime or whatever. But in the book, he shows up and it's a state trooper. I don't know if it's the actual same character, but it's the same kind of character. Mm-hmm. State trooper shows up on the hunt for Paul, and when she realizes that he knows that Paul's in the house, she stabs him and then takes him outside and runs him over with her lawnmower.
Wow.
Yeah, I understand why they didn't put that in the movie, but
it's like Bloodline's Final Destination shit. Yeah. Oh man.
When I read that, that's what I thought of. But yeah. Wow. So yeah, I think one of the things like the meanings I get from this story too is like the whole idea like Paul is like done with this misery character. It's like something that he's known for and he kind of doesn't want to be anymore.
Yeah.
It's kind of a metaphor for like in life when you want to have a change in your life and you kind of are stuck doing the same thing over and over again and you want to change that and everything. But then I think Annie kind of represents that whole thing of like somebody that doesn't want you to do that or people that expect you to be a certain way in your life or even yourself, like you get so used to doing something over and over again and being a certain type of person. It's like, oh, I'm known for this. So I got to be the guy that, wears crazy shoes all the time or whatever, I don't do that, but I'm just saying whatever it is, Yeah. But this is but she's like the representation of that. And he is basically in the movie, especially, he really wants to write something different to show his real self as opposed to the thing. And I look at that like in the whole idea of celebrity too, like where I've talked before, like I was listening to an episode of Pod Meets World it's a podcast about Boy Meets World. And they had the hosts from How We Made Your Mother, which is a podcast about How I Met Your Mother, which Josh Radnor and I can't remember the guy's name, but one of the co-creators of the show, they co-host. And so Josh Radnor was on there and he was talking about the fact that like as they start writing things and they start to like tailor the character to you, certain things of your personality are then put into the character. And so then when you do those things in real life, people are like, oh, you're trying to be like the character.
Right.
But it's like, no, the character did that because I do that. Like Ted liked to read books, he was saying. And so I'm on Twitter recommending books to people and they're like, oh, you're trying to be like Ted.
He's like, no.
He's like, no, I like to read books. Like, what the, it's just like, yeah. Exactly. So it's like, you can't really be yourself because you get so lost in who you are as a actor or a writer or a musician or whatever it is. Like, it's like when a musician wants to, like, oh, I've been known for doing, pop music and now I want to try country or something, it's like you can't, people can't accept it sometimes.
No.
Yeah. So I don't know. So another thing that I found out too is like, James Caan never liked to rehearse.
Oh, okay.
Kathy Bates really loved rehearsing. So one thing that James Caan praised Rob Reiner for was the fact that Rob Reiner said to him, because like he was kind of complaining, he's like, I don't like rehearsing with her. And then Rob Reiner was like, use it. Use the fact that you're mad that Kathy likes to rehearse because it helps you show your contempt for Annie Wilkes more, so.
Like, I love that too, because like, even though like, she's like obviously like gonna hurt him and stuff, but like he's still like sarcastic with her at times and stuff where like she like takes him around the room in his wheelchair and he's like, what do you like? He's like, oh yeah, I always wanted to explore the other part of the room.
Yeah, and it's like and then he did the same thing too to Kathy Bates because they were clashing over the things. And
oh, okay.
So they ended up doing like a compromise where they didn't rehearse as much, but she was complaining that it didn't seem like when they were acting together, because she was so used to theater where you're listening to each other and you're interacting with each other because you practice a lot. And she commented to Rob that Caan was not attempting to relate or listen to her, and he said to her to use that frustration because it makes sense that his character doesn't really give a shit what you're saying.
Exactly.
Basically. So yeah.
I should be.
Well, it really helped that they had two different acting styles because of those characters being so different. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it helped you feel this like sense of, understanding and being able to relate with the character of Paul,
Yeah.
And help with the craziness. And I mean, obviously, and the thing is, it's like until he died, James Caan and Kathy Bates were good friends. So it wasn't like it caused it wasn't personal. It wasn't like a rift like that way, but yeah. And a lot of people didn't want the role of Paul. Like they had offered it to Jack Nicholson, and he was not really sure that he wanted it because of being in The Shining and didn't want to do more.
You want to be like
another Stephen King, thing. It was like other people were offered it, like everybody in Hollywood, like Warren Beatty and different people. It's like I guess it was offered to Warren Beatty, Robert De Niro, Michael Douglas, Richard Dreyfuss, Harrison Ford, Morgan Freeman, Mel Gibson, Gene Hackman, Dustin Hoffman, William Hurt, Kevin Kline, Al Pacino, Robert Redford, Denzel Washington, and Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis went on to play the role on Broadway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
I could see Richard Dreyfuss. No, not Harrison Ford. I think have a good similar personality to James Caan, like in this type of role. I could see, but I think they chose the right guy though. I think.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is, James Caan was kind of on a downswing in his career, and this kind of brought him back up.
Oh wow! Okay.
And the main thing is, it's like a lot of people didn't want to do the do the role because you're playing kind of second fiddle to, not to be sexist, to a female character, and you're in the submissive role where most men are in the, more domineering role in movies. So
right. Plus too, she was like a new actor to the screen as well. So she was like not even like an established, actor yet. I'm not sure what else to say about it. I kind of forgot. I actually didn't forget. I'm just kind of like in a chill mood right now. So I'm just sort of like kind of going a little bit. But I did like the scene though where he finally finishes it, and then he's basically forced to do a suicide pact. So he's like, well, let me just finish the story first, and then we could like send it out, to the rest of the world so that they'll be able to read it, too, or whatever. But then, he threatens to burn his book, or not threatens, he does burn it, and she freaks out, and they get into a really bad fight where she starts cussing a whole lot. I thought she hates language, but apparently she was cussing a whole lot, and which was unrealistic too, of like how many times does she get hit in the head and didn't die? I'm like, okay, come on. Like, it's her with the typewriter, like a really heavy,
those
like, it's up like not a big deal. Like,
yeah, I mean, but that's your typical thing. Like in a horror movie, the killer never. When you think the killer's dead, there's always going to be that jump scare afterwards. So and speaking of,
she falls on the typewriter, hits her head, and she dies from the fall.
Yeah,
which is kind of poetic.
The instrument that killed her was the one that she brought into the room.
Exactly. Yeah.
I guess Kathy Bates was picked for the movie by William Goldman, who wrote the screenplay. He had seen her on Broadway and suggested her for the role, and like they wanted to go with like known people. Like they even offered the role to Angelica Houston, and they thought about like Bette Midler and other people. But yeah. Wow. But
Bette Midler playing the role. That'd be kind of weird.
Rob Reiner really liked the idea of having like an unknown actress in the role, because then it makes it even scarier because you don't know what to expect from her.
Right. Yeah. I think the casting was perfect, the way that they churned out. It's like a lot of times to get these ideas and stuff, but then once you actually realize how the movie would have looked so much different, like if Richard Dreyfuss was the guy. I guess Richard Dreyfuss could sort of play that kind of character similar, but a little bit more on the sarcastic side, whereas like
the thing about James Caan is, sure, he's like a good looking guy, and he's like a kind of a tough guy, but he's also got that kind of like, I guess, sort of like Jimmy Stewart everyman sort of feel to him.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, like Richard Dreyfuss kind of has an everyman feel to him, but he's more of a eccentric everyman. Whereas the idea with Paul is you kind of want him to be like a blank slate in certain ways so you can relate to him.
Yeah.
And then the emotion comes through even more because you're kind of, relating to him that way. It's like, I don't know. I think he was perfect in the movie. I kind of want to see, I don't know if there's any video of it, but like the Broadway version of it that William Goldman actually wrote the script to, it's from like 10 or 15 years ago or something, with it was with Bruce Willis in the role of Paul, and then Laurie Metcalf from like Roseanne and other things as Annie. So that would probably be good to see. I wish I could go back in time and see that. Poor Bruce Willis is never going to act again, sadly.
Yeah. Find a way. Sorry.
Anyway, anything else to say about this before we wrap things up?
No, not really. Oh,
that's weird. I'm just reading some trivia here. Mary Tyler Moore wanted the role of Annie Wilkes.
Oh my God, that would have been so bizarre.
That would have been weird. I mean, I could see her playing it, but it's still weird.
It would be a really weird version of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because she was like what was that movie we covered where she did play a kind of a villainous character that she was the like principal at that school. It was like Cheats or something.
That movie.
Yeah.
Is that her? I don't remember. Yeah. That's
she was she was the principal or whatever. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible movie.
I know it was bad, but after seeing that, I could kind of see her playing a villainous role. I mean, she's played villainous roles. But
I thought that movie was cool when I saw it.
Yeah.
In like 2002, and I come back to it, and I'm like, why did I think any of this was funny? Like, there's like two lines that I still thought were funny. Like everything else was just like, okay, I thought this was good for some reason. Like, all right.
So yeah. Another person that was considered for Paul Sheldon here, according to this, was Bill Murray.
Oh my God. No. That would not work.
Like that would have been weird.
Oh, like what about Bob? Like type of character? No.
Carol Burnett was considered for Annie. Oh no, the agent. She was considered for the role of the agent.
Agent. Okay, I guess.
Vicki Lawrence was considered for Annie Wilkes.
Who's that?
She played Mama in Mama's Family, and she was on the Carol Burnett show.
Okay.
When she was on Mama's Family, she was like in her like late 20s, early 30s, playing the grandmother.
Right, they just made her up. Yeah.
So she was young, but still.
I know. Oh man. Yeah.
Jeff Daniels was considered for the lead. Robert Klein, John Hurd, and Ed O'Neill.
No.
Like has in Al Bundy.
No, that would not work. That would not work at all.
Oh boy.
I mean, he might be too sarcastic that he would shoot his kill up.
Yeah. I do want to give a shout out to Richard Farnsworth and Francis Sturgeon Sternhagen as Buster and Virginia, the cop and his wife. Oh my God, they were hilarious. I thought.
I know.
They seemed like a real married couple.
Yeah. Too bad Buster got shot.
Yeah, I know. I feel bad for Virginia.
They didn't even wrap that part up. They just like a lot of movies like that. They didn't do that. Like nowadays.
I mean, they don't even show how Paul got out of the house.
No, they don't. Like that's the kind of one of the bad things about old movies too, is like they don't really give you any kind of follow up. They just like
I mean. Yeah. Sometimes it's better to just like give it up to your own imagination too. But anyways, folks, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let us know what you think of Misery. Or any other Stephen King adaptation in the comments below where you're listening to this. Check out our Patreon. We have a new URL for that. That's patreon.com/All2ReelToo. Really easy to remember. Just go there. Do it. You can join for as little as $1 a month. And if we start doing like exclusive episodes to our fans, you can be the first to get them. Maybe even the first to get our episodes before they are released on your regular podcatchers. But
you can get them before we even record them.
Yeah, you can get them before we record them. How's that work?
No, like you get to get into our minds and then
we'll have this new thing where you can just be inside my head.
Yeah.
And inside Sesame's head, and then
you don't want to be in here.
No, you don't want to be in my head either. So, believe me. I'm not going to tell you why. No.
All you're going to get from me is reading a bunch of random book and then doing music, watching YouTube, and then thinking about beetle nut. That's all you're going to get from me. So. You're
just going to be me binge watching random TV shows like 12 Monkeys. People, check it out.
Yeah.
Or then watching General Hospital every weekday. That's my life, folks. Listening to other podcasts.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what lives in my head. But anyways, folks, just go to all2reeltoo.com. There's links to our Patreon. Like I said, we're talking about, we got our TeePublic listed there too. All of our social media, you can check all that out. Just support the show any way you can. Share it with a friend. Kidnap somebody and put them in your guest room and break their legs and make them listen to the podcast. Wait, no, don't do that.
See, that reminded me for a second. I was going to mention too. See, I thought that they were going to do like a miscue, or I don't know what you would call it, where
like a misdirect or something.
Misdirect. Well, I was wondering if she had broken his legs. Like before she took, like basically like his legs were fine during the accident, but then she broke it and then told him that he broke his legs during the accident. But no, they didn't do that.
Oh, poor guy.
No, they had to show the cobbling scene. Come on. Yeah. You can't do that if she already broke his
that hurt. Anyways. But folks, don't kidnap people. Just let them know to listen to the show. You can't like kidnap them and put them in your guest room and put headphones on them and make them listen to the podcast over and over and over again.
They're buying them like a really, really huge typewriter. That's like,
I'm not suggesting this at all.
No, don't do it.
Yes, don't do it. But do, share the show on social media. Yes. Also, folks, just, be good to each other. Be different. Be yourself in a world of phonies. Remember that trans lives are human lives. No human is illegal. Abolish ICE. Free Palestine. Fuck the, oligarchy. And remember that I love you. Sesame Cockadoodie loves you. And until next time, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to All2ReelToo podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.
Too Good & Co. coffee creamers are made with farm fresh cream, real milk, and contain 3 grams of sugar per serving. That's 40% less than the 5 grams per serving in leading traditional coffee creamers for a rich, delicious experience. Whether you enjoy your coffee hot, cold, bold, or frothy, Too Good coffee creamers make every sip a good one. Too Good coffee creamers, real goodness in every sip. Find them at your local Kroger in the creamer aisle.
Close your eyes, exhale, feel your body relax, and let go of whatever you're carrying today.
Well, I'm letting go of the worry that I wouldn't get my new contacts in time for this class. I got them delivered free from 1-800-CONTACTS. Oh my gosh, they're so fast.
And breathe.
Oh, sorry. I almost couldn't breathe when I saw the discount they gave me on my first order. Oh, sorry. Namaste.
Visit 1-800-CONTACTS.com today to save on your first order.
1-800-CONTACTS.
Martha listens to her favorite band all the time. In the car, gym, even sleeping. So when they finally went on tour, Martha bundled her flight and hotel on Expedia to see them live. She saved so much, she got a seat close enough to actually see and hear them. Sort of. You were made to scream from the front row. We were made to quietly save you more. Expedia, made to travel. Savings vary and subject to availability. Flight inclusive packages are ATOL protected.